Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the events of the Order of the Phoenix. More specifically, we're going to be taking a closer look at Dumbledore. We know that it was during this school year that Dumbledore was ousted from Hogwarts. This was a terrible year for the school. Not only was Dumbledore gone, but Umbridge was put in his place, eventually being appointed headmistress. This of course all transpired due to the Ministry, namely Fudge, continually butting heads with Dumbledore. Fudge was lashing out, he was blinded by fear, and in utter denial that the Dark Lord Voldemort had returned. Dumbledore continually tried to convince Fudge of the truth, but his efforts were futile, and Fudge continued to punish Dumbledore in whatever way he could. Eventually, things escalated to a futile arrest attempt on Dumbledore by the Ministry. Who were they kidding? And a fantastic exit from the Hogwarts grounds. But all of this raises one very big question. Where did Dumbledore go? He's kicked out of Hogwarts and doesn't turn up again until his duel with Voldemort in the Ministry atrium. What gives? The only place that we can truly rule out is Grimmauld Place, as he immediately rejects that notion when questioned by McGonagall. "Where will you go, Dumbledore?" whispered Professor McGonagall. "Grimmauld Place?" "Oh no," said Dumbledore with a grim smile. "I'm not leaving to go into hiding. Fudge will soon wish he'd never dislodged me from Hogwarts, I promise you." While under pursuit from the Ministry, Dumbledore didn't have too many options for safe havens, as it's likely that the Ministry would find him in some of the more obvious spots. However, I'm not sure that Dumbledore was even particularly concerned that they would find him. After all, if they did find him, what on earth could they possibly do to detain Dumbledore? Now, my first assumption would be that Dumbledore simply went Horcrux hunting. This seems like the obvious answer. Dumbledore was wise, powerful, and had plenty of time on his hands. Why would he waste his time doing anything else? To add to this, later that same summer, Dumbledore was able to effectively destroy Marvolo Gaunt's ring, which suggests that the topic was on his mind. The issue with this, however, is that Dumbledore Horcrux hunting doesn't provide any kind of problems for Fudge. Before leaving, Dumbledore very clearly says to McGonagall, "Fudge will soon wish he'd never dislodged me from Hogwarts, I promise you." This seemed to imply that Dumbledore had intentions of making Fudge's life difficult. But what did he mean by this? What action did he take? One thing I'd like to add is that for the duration that Dumbledore was gone, the Ministry had absolutely no idea where he was. This is reinforced by the following conversation between Marchbanks and Umbridge. Journey was fine. We've made it plenty of times before," she said impatiently. "Now, I haven't heard from Dumbledore lately," she added, peering around the hall as though hopeful he might suddenly emerge from a broom cupboard. "No idea where he is, I suppose?" "None at all," said Umbridge, shooting a malevolent look at Harry, Ron, and Hermione, who were now dawdling around the foot of the stairs as Ron pretended to do up his shoelace. "But I dare say the Ministry of Magic will track him down soon enough." Here are the facts. Dumbledore was wanted by the Ministry. He expressed that he had no intention of hiding. He vowed that Fudge would regret his decision, and he destroyed the Gaunt ring shortly after his departure. What's the best way that Dumbledore could make Fudge regret his decision? Proving him wrong. I think that, while away, Dumbledore spent his time doing a few things: working to raise awareness about Voldemort's return, hunting Horcruxes, and trying to expose Voldemort. The best way to make Fudge regret his decision would be to expose him as wrong, effectively jeopardizing the safety of the wizarding world because of his own denial. Furthermore, Dumbledore was the only wizard that could properly challenge Voldemort, the most powerful wizard on the good side, and I think that becomes abundantly clear to Fudge when he finally arrives at the Ministry atrium and feasts his eyes on Voldemort once more. And that's it for this video. If you enjoy the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live